In the bustling city of Yestertide, where time was the ultimate currency, the inhabitants traded years of their lives for fleeting joys. The wealthy lingered in perpetual youth, while the poor counted their moments meticulously. Amidst this backdrop of temporal transactions, a peculiar hero emerged, not a gallant knight or a cunning thief, but a sentient pocket watch named Seldom, who had a knack for getting lost in the labyrinth of time. Seldom lived a mundane life in the pocket of a forgetful professor, often forgotten and left to collect dust. However, one fateful day, as the professor rushed to a lecture on quantum physics, Seldom found himself misplaced, lost in the maze of Yestertide's bustling streets. This mishap would unravel the fabric of time itself. Seldom's journey began on a street where clocks bloomed like flowers, their petals chiming with each passing second. As he rolled into a nearby alley, he encountered a walking, talking cloud named Ferris, who was notorious for his terrible puns, and a sentient shadow named Spot, who fancied himself as a spotlight. "Hello there, little watch, lost in time?" Ferris chuckled, his voice as light as a feather. "Actually, we seem to have found each other," Seldom replied, dusting himself off. Spot, ever the dramatic, declared, "I was once just a shadow, but now I'm the spotlight of the show." Their banter was interrupted by a flyer that fluttered down. The Great Time Heist. The clock tower vault, midnight sharp, determined to prevent the Great Time Heist. Seldom, Ferris, and Spot set off towards the clock tower. Along the way, they encountered a clockmaker who spoke in riddles. "What is always coming, but never arrives? Tomorrow," Ferris quipped, his puns as dreadful as ever. The clockmaker cackled, handing Seldom a gear. "For the clock tower's heart, you'll need this to restart." Their journey continued through a market where time was literal seconds, minutes, and hours were on display. They dodged people running with handfuls of time, chasing after it as if it were treasure. As they approached the clock tower, the trio found themselves in a frantic chase. Spot's tendency to highlight the wrong things led them astray, while Ferris's puns accidentally solved a critical riddle that unlocked a hidden path. Within the tower, they discovered the source of the disturbance, a time thief known only as the Timekeeper, who sought to steal the eternal now, a mythical moment that could grant immortality. In the heart of the clock tower, Seldom and his companions faced the Timekeeper. The confrontation was as chaotic as it was absurd. Ferris's puns distracted the Timekeeper, while Spot's spotlight revealed hidden mechanisms. Seldom, with the gear from the clockmaker, managed to rewind time itself. In a final, desperate move, Seldom challenged the Timekeeper to a race against the clock literally. They counted down the seconds, each tick a heartbeat of tension. With time restored to its rightful order, Yestertide returned to its usual chaos. Seldom, now hailed as a hero, returned to the professor's pocket, but with a twist he could traverse time at will. Ferris and Spot remained his loyal companions, ready for the next adventure. And so, in the city where time was currency, Seldom and his friends ensured that no moment would ever be wasted after all. Time was too precious to be lost. One crisp morning, as Seldom and his friends strolled through Yestertide, they stumbled upon a peculiar sight, a colorful caravan with wagons shaped like giant clockwork gears, each chimming a different tune. A banner flapped in the wind, reading, "Mr. Chronicles' Clockwork Carnival, where every hour is an adventure." Curious, the trio approached. Spot, ever the spotlight, illuminated a rickety ticket booth operated by none other than Ferris, the walking cloud, who was now dressed as a carnival barker. "Step right up, ladies and gentlemen, sentient shadows and errant pocket watches. For the low price of a second, a minute, or perhaps a year of your life, come and experience the most timeless entertainment in all of Yestertide." Seldom raised an eyebrow. "What makes this carnival so special?" "Ah," Ferris grinned, "this is no ordinary carnival. Each attraction bends time in its own whimsical way. Lose track of yourself in the Hall of Mirrored Hours, or race the seconds in the Minute Maze. And don't miss the main attraction, the clockwork Ferris wheel that takes riders to a time when yesterday was tomorrow." Spot buzzed with excitement. Sounds perfect for me! Nothing better than a spotlight on the past and future. Seldom hesitated. But what's the cost of admission? We're not exactly swimming in spare time. Ah, but for you three, Ferris said slyly, I'll make an exception. Admission is free, but only if you can answer my riddle. Seldom groaned. You're going to ask, what is always coming but never arrives, aren't you? Ferris gasped. How did you know? Let's just say I've heard it before. Seldom replied. But deal. With a flourish, Ferris handed them a golden ticket each. Enjoy the carnival, but beware. Time here plays tricks. Don't lose track of yourselves. As the trio boarded the Ferris wheel, Seldom noticed that each carriage was labeled with a different time. Yesterday morning, tomorrow afternoon, next year's Tuesday, etc. When the ride began, it didn't just spin, it whirled through time itself. Seldom found himself in a carriage marked prehistoric afternoon, where dinosaurs munched on cotton candy. Spot's carriage, labeled future dusk, featured robots juggling laser beams. Ferris, in parallel universe, floated above it all, laughing. The ride operator, a mechanical clown with a clock for a face, laughed maniacally. Remember, time is relative, especially when you're upside down. Next, Spot insisted on trying the minute maze, where the walls shifted every second. Don't worry, I'll light the way, he said, shining bright. Inside, they found themselves chasing after seconds that had escaped, dodging speeding hours, and answering riddles from talking clockwork hedges. Quickly, a hedge whispered, "Why has a thumb but no fingers? Give up," it asked when they hesitated. "Mittens," it squealed, clapping its leaves. As they exited, Seldom muttered, "I think I left my sense of time in there." The most mysterious attraction, the Hall of Mirrored Hours, drew Seldom in with its eerie silence. Inside, mirrors stretched endlessly, each reflecting a different version of themselves at various points in time. There was future Seldom, a wise mentor guiding timelines. Past Seldom, still lost in the professor's pocket. And alternate Seldom, a swashbuckler with a time-traveling pirate ship. Ferris whistled softly. So, what's the lesson here? Spot illuminated a mirror. Maybe it's about finding your true reflection or realizing you've got more in you than you think. Seldom nodded. It's about embracing every version of yourself, even the ones that get lost. As they neared the end of the carnival, the trio stumbled upon a strange stall hidden behind a curtain of ticking clock hands. The sign above read, "The Time Merchant Rare and Curious Items." Inside, the merchant, a peculiar being with sand-filled hourglasses for eyes, offered peculiar wares, a watch that ran backward, an hourglass filled with starlight, and a pocket watch that could rewind regret. Seldom gasped at the sight of the last item. "How much does that cost?" The merchant smiled slyly. "Only the time you've wasted second guessing yourself." Spot flickered nervously. "Is it worth it?" Seldom pondered, then nodded. "For the chance to undo a regret, I'd trade any moment." And with that, Seldom handed over a small, dusty pocket watch filled with the seconds he'd wasted worrying about being lost. The merchant accepted, handed over the watch, and vanished with a laugh that echoed like a grandfather clock. As the carnival packed up and left Yestertide, Seldom found himself holding not only the watch, but a newfound sense of purpose. He realized that time wasn't something to be lost or hoarded, it was something to be enjoyed. "Let's find the professor," he said, determination in his voice. It's time to teach him that time is meant to be shared, not traded. And off they went, ready to embrace whatever timeless adventures awaited them. Seldom, Ferris, and Spot stood before the grand oak door of Professor Peculiar's office, the wood gleaming with intricate carvings of gears and clock hands. The sign on the door read, "Professor Peculiar, Keeper of Lost Time," in letters that seemed to shift and rearrange themselves as they watched. "Well, here we are," Seldom said, adjusting his chain with a determined jingle. "It's time to talk to the professor." Ferris, the cloud, floated nearby, his form puffing out a small sigh. "Do you think he'll listen?" He has to, Seldom replied firmly. It's time someone taught him the value of a moment. Spot, the sentient shadow, nodded in agreement, his dark form glistening with a hint of resolve. We've got your back, Seldom. Let's light this up. With a deep chime, Seldom pushed the door open, and the trio stepped into the professor's chaotic office. Clocks of all shapes and sizes cluttered the space, their Seldom symphony filling the air. Papers and gears littered the floor, and in the center of the room, Professor Peculiar sat at a massive, cluttered desk, his wild gray hair standing in every direction. He looked up, his thick, round spectacles sliding down. "Ah, Seldom!" he exclaimed, relief washing over his face. "I was just looking all over for you. I think I might have misplaced you again, didn't I?" Seldom let out a patient sigh. "Professor, we need to talk." The professor nodded, pushing a pile of ticking contraptions aside to make room. "Of course, my dear watch. Please, do go on." Cirrus floated forward, his cloudy form shifting into a more defined shape as he addressed the professor. "Professor Peculiar, Seldom here has something important to share. Something about time." Spot, ever the spotlight, illuminated Seldom as he began. "Professor, you've been misplacing me for far too long. It's not just about me, it's about all the moments you've lost, traded, or forgotten. Time isn't something to be carelessly misplaced or bartered. It's precious, and it's meant to be enjoyed, not wasted." The professor listened intently, his expression growing more thoughtful with each word. "Go on," he encouraged. "Imagine if you could see the consequences of losing time." Seldom continued, holding up the rewind watch he had acquired from the time merchant. "This watch can show you the moments you've let slip away." With a press of his dial, Seldom activated the rewind watch. A soft glow emanated from it, and suddenly, visions of the professor's past appeared before them, moments of joy, of connection, of sheer wonder that had been overlooked or forgotten. The professor watched, transfixed, as he saw himself laughing with friends, exploring new inventions, and moments of quiet reflection. "I had forgotten these," he murmured, a tinge of regret in his voice. "These are the things that make life rich," Seldom said softly. "They're worth more than any amount of traded time." Spot highlighted a particularly poignant moment, and Cirrus added, "Time is a gift. Professor, let's work together to make sure you don't lose it." The professor nodded, determination in his eyes. "You're right, Seldom. I want to change. I want to cherish every moment, not let them slip away." "Then let's make a deal," Seldom proposed. "Together, we'll manage your time, ensuring that every second is valued. No more misplacing me, no more trading away memories." The professor smiled, a warmth in his demeanor that hadn't been seen in ages. "Deal, Seldom. And thank you for reminding me what truly matters." As they shook hands, or rather, as Seldom gave a small nod of agreement, the trio felt a shift in the room. The clock seemed to tick in harmony, the clutter began to organize itself, and an air of clarity filled the space. "Let's get to work, shall we?" the professor said, his enthusiasm renewed. "There's no time like the present to make the most of time." And with that, Seldom, Cirrus, and Spot embarked on a new adventure, not just to manage the professor's time, but to spread their message across Yestertide. For in a world where time was currency, they were determined to remind everyone that some moments were simply priceless. The door closed behind them, leaving the professor's office in order, ready for a future filled with the joy of now. And Seldom, no longer just a lost pocket watch, had found his true purpose: to keep time meaningful, one moment at a time.